Hi YouTube, happy Wednesday. So this is my second video, follow up from my first. I was supposed to put out a video, it's going on 2 weeks, I think. Yeah. Well, I ended up with a flare from my fibro, and needless to say, I didn't feel like filming a video. So I didn't. I'm sorry. But nobody really checked out the last video. So maybe this one to get a little bit more views, and the more I'm gonna try and be really consistent with videos. Maybe a video on, today is Wednesday. I wanna say, I don't know. If it's Monday and Fridays and today just be a fluke and you'll get another video on Friday, maybe. But, so this is just a follow-up. My fibro was in rare form. I am going through a lot, so I'm guessing that is why it decided to peek its little head out and say, yeah, you're doing too much, girl. Because normally, I have pain every day. But there's tolerable pain, and then that's that flare-up fibro pain, which is a booger. So, that's the kind of pain I was dealing with. And, I'm going through a lot. Need surgery on my back. Just in pain. Social Security giving me the blues. It's just a lot. So I think I started talking about the Social Security standpoint and how it got screwed up on my last video. So I started getting Social Security back in 2008. And that was for my back. And how I hurt my back, I don't know if I said that in the last video or not. But how I injured my back was I worked for the VA in the nursing home part of the VA. And I injured myself one time. And after that first time, I kept re-injuring the same spot. And the VA was just giving me the runaround as far as helping me, So I was young then, so I just quit. I had been there 12 years, and I just said I couldn't do this no more, and I quit. I shouldn't have done that. So needless to say, my back got worse and worse and worse and worse. And in 2007, I ended up having a spinal fusion of L4-5S1. So after that, I continued with pain, but not as bad as it was. Then it got bearable, so I started working a little bit more. But then it wasn't. My SI joint, I started having a lot of pain down in there. So I stopped working. And I applied for, I applied for Social Security back in 2006 before I had the back surgery. So that's when I applied for it. In 2008 is when I got approved for Social Security disability. So once I got approved for Social Security, benefits, I stopped trying to work. And I didn't work until, I want to say 2015. And then I worked a little couple days at Lowe's, being a cashier. Did that for on and off for a couple years. And then in 2018, I started working for Salvation Army as a cashier. At this point, my back started getting worse. Then I started having more problems with my knee, because my right knee, I always had problems with it from a young girl, because I hurt my knee when I was about 15 years old, and it had never been the same. So I started having trouble with that. So between my back and my knee, I was in a tizzy. So 2018, yes. In 2019, no, I got diagnosed with fibro before 2018. I think it was around 2015. I was at Lowe's when I got diagnosed with fibro. Fibro slash rheumatoid arthritis mimic, because my test results showed that I didn't have rheumatoid, but I had the symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. So I was going through that. Yeah, I just been a booger. So, okay, back to Salvation Army. So, 2018, I started working at Salvation Army. I worked there, hurting, still getting, my disability, because it was only part-time. Left in the end of 2018. Stayed off work, for a while. Went back in 2020, I want to say. And then the beginning of 2020, because I wasn't there long before COVID came into play. So I left, and when everything shut down, I left. And I didn't go back. So in 2021, I decided to try it again. Went there working a couple days a week. The knee was still kneeing, and standing on it, between that and my back, standing on it for 8 hours a day. It wasn't even 8 hours. It was more like 5, because it was a little part-time. I was in pain that I had to go to pain management and get on opiates in order for me to work, which was crazy. So in 2021, May, I had a right total knee replacement. So I stayed off after that because I was messing up my back because my knee wasn't right. Oh my God. Then fibro was taking over because I was stressed out because the other parts of my body wasn't working right. So it was just a mess. So in 2022, the beginning, January 2022, I went back to the Salvation Army. I said, you know what, these people sick of me. But they were the ones that always asked me, oh, don't you want to come back? And I always say yes. So I went back. I left in June of 2022. I'm sorry, I'm being nosy. In July of 2022, I received a letter from Social Security stating that they discontinued my benefits because of me working. So I go into the next day, I go into Social Security, and I said, I received this letter stating that y'all discontinued me because I was working. I am no longer working. And if you look at the record, you will see that I work only a couple months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months And I have to quit because I can't stand without a whole bunch of pain. The guy who I talked to told me I had to reapply. I had to start all over. This was July of 2022. So I left there in tears. I said, how the hell am I going to work a full-time job? How? So I didn't go right back to work then. I had a little bit of help with my, from my kids. So September, I finally got a call back from a job, and it was like call center. So I was going to be sitting. I said, well, maybe that'll help me just sitting, And no. I worked there September. By the end of October, I was gone. Because the sitting, to me, was worse than the standing. And they didn't like you just standing up for no reason. Even though I said, I have back issues and I just need to stretch and stand. No. So I left there at the end of October. So I was home October. The rest, I stopped the end of October. I think it was a day or two before Halloween. So I was home all November, and bills coming in. I was like, I can't do this. I can't sit here and do nothing. I said, well, they got another training class coming up. The same job. I said, let me give it another try. So they hired me back. I started back in December. Was having the same freaking issues. The same issues. So I left. I stayed there a little longer this time. I called in a lot, but I stayed there a little longer. Left in March. So March 2023 was my last day of working with no income. Yes, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. If it wasn't for my sons, I would be in trouble. And I have a friend, and he helps as much as he can. But he also has his own place that he has to tend to also. So we did that March. So that was March. So I didn't work. Things was getting shaky. I had to go and try and get help with my rent. So I went to this place here that helps you with your rent, if you fall behind. So September 2023, I said, you know what, Adrian? You need to reapply for Social Security. This is going to be a 2-year struggle. At least you're struggling, and hopefully you can get something. So I applied. Then I got a letter stating that I was going to get a call for the telephone interview where they go through your application and ask you questions. So in October of 2023, they called me. And we were going through the questionnaire and whatever. And then something was said. And I said, well, I was on Social Security disability before. But they stopped my benefits because they said I was working. And she said, wait a minute. She said, you shouldn't have reapplied. I just threw my hands up in the air. I said, what do you mean I shouldn't have reapplied? She said, only thing you needed to do was fill out paperwork stating that you wanted a reinstatement. I said, ma'am, I went into Social Security in July of last year when I first got terminated for my benefits. And I was told by a worker inside Social Security that I had to totally reapply. So she says, no ma'am. Only thing, it has not been 5 years. Only thing you have to do is fill out this paperwork that I'm going to mail out to you. And that's all you need to do. You will get provisional payments until reinstatement has been made. So I waited all this time, over a year. And that's all I had to do. So yes, I was pissed, to say the least. I was pissed. So when I received the paperwork, which is October, I took it, not mailed it. I took it back to the Social Security. And can I tell you, that was October of 2023. This is August of 2024. I have not received anything. One reason, the case manager that I had, she told me, yes, they shouldn't have did that, and I reapplied, and that screwed me up. That's the first thing. Second thing was, I'm thinking by me working, Salvation Army was reporting my wages, and they wasn't. They wasn't. It just showed I worked for them. It didn't have the amounts or anything. Not like when I worked at Lowe's. Everything was there. Because I asked her about that. I said, well, I worked for Lowe's a couple years ago. And she went back. She said, oh, yeah, that's in there. No issue. Salvation Army was the issue. And then, of course, I didn't bring in pay stubs, which I thought Salvation Army was reporting my wages. So she told me to call Salvation Army. No, if I can bring check stub, my check stubs. I didn't have the check stubs anymore. And when I went into the portal, they gave me everything but the year they wanted. So I called Human Resources. The lady told me they could only go back from 23, which I didn't work there in 23. 23 and part of 22. But it was after I left because they updated their system. So, called her back, told the case manager, told her I couldn't get the check stubs, Didn't hear nothing from her for like a month. Come find out, she called me. She contacted the Salvation Army, got everything that she needed. And she was entering them in as we were talking. So, that was last month when she told me that. So she called me. last week, I want to say. Asking me all these questions, asking me if the banking information is still the same. And she was putting in for my provisional payments. And I said, okay. Then she tells me for medical reinstatement, it's going to take 3 to 5 months before I know anything. What the hell have y'all been doing for the past 10 months that you haven't sent anything to medical? I'm just so confused. So now I'm waiting still to see if I'm even going to get the provisional. Or am I going to wait until 3 to 5 months to see if I'm going to get medical reinstatement? So that's the end of that. But I found out last Friday that I'm going to have surgery on my back. I think I don't know if I stated in the last video. Can't remember if I stated at the beginning of this video. But I've already had L4-5S1 fused. I have 2 herniation, L1, 2. That's causing trouble now. I have numbness across my thighs, sciatic down the right leg, foot pain, back pain, just pain. But he said he was just going to fuse L1 and L2 and he was going to leave 3 alone. Well, wait, what? Why is 3 just going to be hanging out all willy-nilly between 2 fused vertebrae? I mean, I don't get that. And am I going to have to come back for you guys to do something else to it because it's going to start causing pain because it's there by its lonesome? I don't know. But I do have to have an updated MRI. The last MRI is right at the year mark. So he wants to get a new MRI and go from there. So after I get the MRI, I go back to see him and then we'll schedule the surgery at that point in time. So as you guys can see, I have a lot going on that's stressing me out, and that is just making my fibro just on 10. So I'm already way longer than what I wanted this video to be. So I will keep you guys updated. As soon as I have the MRI done and get my scheduled surgery date, I will come on and update you. And when I have the surgery, I will be documenting it on YouTube. Because all videos I've seen, I have not seen one that has fusion at L1 and 2. I don't see any. So I will be documenting that whole process. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a blessed day. Bye.